everybody, Jeff aka Jeekers here. I hope you're all having a great day. It is time for another Black Site Files from Unsolved Mysteries. This time I will be covering the case of Dan Wilson. Now, before I continue on, I'm just getting some stuff set up. I'm not sure if it's actually even going to work. Let's see here. Chat. Because I can't tell if chat is working. But oh well, it's okay. So a quick synopsis of this before I actually get to the case itself. Dan Wilson ended up having a breakdown at work. He was an awesome worker, according to his employer. So they told him, take a few days off and come back when you're feeling up to it. Like normally nowadays, you yell at your boss and you're fired. Dan Wilson must have been an awesome person because they actually, hey, you're an awesome worker. Go ahead, go take some time off. Come back when you're feeling up to it. Your job will be here waiting for you. So that tells you how much they valued him as an employee. But sadly, Dan Wilson ended up passing away. But I'll get to that, when I start covering the case. If you're new to Black Site Files from Unsolved Mysteries, basically I go to the Unsolved Mysteries wiki and I read a case and I give you my thoughts. That's basically what it is. If you're expecting videos, you're not really going to get those, because YouTube and Cosgrove Muir, they're kind of control happy, about that kind of stuff, so. But enough about that. Let's turn that on and get to the main case, shall we? Okay, so we have Dan Wilson. Real name is Daniel Robert Wilson. His nickname was Dan. Location was Spokane, Washington, and the date is August 24th, 1988. Now, I want to continue. Before I continue on, I do want to say that this is kind of misleading. They kind of make it sound like what him passing away, that he passed away in Spokane. He did not pass away in Spokane. He ended up being found in Billings, or near Billings, Montana, as you can see in this picture here. His occupation is he was electrician / mechanic. Holy shit, I didn't realize that. He was actually born on November 4th, 1952. I was born November 4th, 1981. So he is almost, if I'm the type of person that still assigns an age to a person even though they died. So let's see, he would be about almost 70-ish. Give or take a year, Wait, see, 30 and 50. Yeah, about almost. He'll be almost 70 this year, So that's kind of sad, if you really think about it. But but let's continue on. So his height was. Hold on, let me also see. Is it F5? Okay, hold on. Crap. Okay, I can't tell. Okay, looks like I'm still. Wait, hold on. Did that go? No, that's. Oh god, I can't recall. What is the? Hold on. They used to have like a full screen mode. What is it? Zoom. Okay, I guess it. Okay, here we go. I'm hoping that this shows and up appropriately and everything. Okay, so height was 5'4", weight is 145. Marital status is Dan was divorced. His characteristics is that he is a Caucasian male with light brown hair, blue eyes, and he is slightly pigeon-toed. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Pigeon-toed, I don't know what that means. I'm wondering if that means like your feet could be pointed in a little bit. Yeah, I'm wondering if that's what that is. Okay, so like I said, I'm just going to read the case. So if you're expecting videos, I'm sorry, but there are none. Case. 35-year-old Dan Wilson of Spokane, Washington, was known as a quiet, religious man. In 1986, when he was 33 years old, his marriage broke up, but he remained close to his young son and daughter and visited them often. In 1987, he suffered a nervous breakdown, which he felt was due to the trauma of his divorce. By the summer of 1988, however, he was off his medication and seemed to have his life back under control. Let me take a quick drink, and then I'll scroll this up a little bit. In June of 1988, Dan went to work at the ASC Machine Tool Company in Spokane, and according to coworkers, was a steady, reliable employee. Then, suddenly on August 24th, everything changed. While he was working, his foreman asked him about something he was working on. Dan asked if there was a problem, but his foreman said that there was not. Dan became angry, saying, "Every time I try to get my work done, you come down here and give me a hard time about it." His foreman said that he had not been saying anything about his work, but Dan said that he knew what the foreman and everyone else had been saying about him. His foreman tried to quiet him down, but he said, "I don't need need to be quiet. I just want you to leave me alone so I can get my work done." Okay, let's see here. Hold on. Dan's foreman was shocked by the outburst. He and the plant manager were concerned. They felt that something was clearly bothering Dan. They told him to take time off and return to work whenever he felt ready. He left the plant at 11 a.m. It was Wednesday, August 24th, 1988. 2 days went by. His neighbors noticed that his sprinklers had been left running. On Friday, August 26th, they turned them off, never suspecting that anything was wrong. He was not scheduled to visit his children that weekend, so his ex-wife never noticed he was missing. His mother, Darlene Wilson, who lived in Colorado, telephoned, but was not alarmed when she received no answer. Saturday and Sunday came and went, and no one even knew Dan was missing. Okay, let's just take a quick, break for a second. Hold on, I'm just trying to. Okay. Okay, let's see here. I'm just. Come on, how do you get out of the? Uh-oh. Yeah. I'm still trying to learn how to get out of the. How do you get out of the? Is it? Wait, isn't it F11? It was F11. Okay. Okay, so let's just take a quick break. I just want to check. See if there's anybody in chat. If there is, yeah. See, I'm not sure if this is normal. I never had any, but nobody's ever chatted with me, so I can't tell if that's normal or not. So let's go back to this. That's kind of sad if you really think about it. I can understand the ex-wife not paying any attention. She's the ex-wife. Normally, when a marriage ends in divorce, you're not really going to care that much about the person you divorce. If you cared about the person, you wouldn't be having a divorce. But it seems kind of sad that literally nobody took notice that this guy who had a nervous breakdown but was recovering from it, well, that he was just gone. Like me, if I had a neighbor and their sprinkler was running for 2 days, I would have been like, okay, either this guy is trying to draw worms for a new bait shop that he wants to open up, or something's wrong, because nobody would really leave their sprinklers running for 2 days straight. If because nobody wants to have a soggy, muddy front yard. The main reason is cost. It's not, running water isn't free, ladies and gentlemen. So it's really just kind of sad that so many people didn't notice that he was missing. Okay, let's go back up here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm just trying to get my okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, back up here. On Monday, August 29th, in a remote area of Custer County, Montana, an abandoned car was investigated by Sheriff Tony Harbaugh. It was a white 1987 Chevrolet Spectrum. Well, that sounds like a cool name for a car. And it was found along Interstate 94, 15 miles east of Miles City, Montana. A highway patrolman had previously noticed it there 2 days earlier. On August 27th, the doors were unlocked. In fact, one of them was ajar. The keys were missing. There were a few miscellaneous items found, one of which was a Bible. It was laying on the front seat. Dan's name was inscribed in the front of it. Sheriff Harbaugh traced the car to Dan. He contacted Darlene because the car was registered in her name. That's weird. I can't recall they actually mentioned that in the video. It had been abandoned more than 700 miles from Dan's Spokane residence. Sheriff Harbaugh noticed that there was no luggage in the car to indicate Dan was planning a trip. There was nothing that gave him a firm indication of what Dan was thinking or doing in the area. Authorities conducted both ground and aerial searches. It is Sheriff Harbaugh's belief that Dan was in the area they searched. If Dan was in the area that they searched, they should have been able to find him. There seemed to be no explanation for Dan's car being found abandoned in the middle of the Montana prairie. Baffled, Darlene, along with two of his cousins, went to Montana to talk to Sheriff Harbaugh and look for some answers. They met him at the lot where Dan's car had been towed to. Sheriff Harbaugh told her that the car looked like it had been parked there and that someone had walked away from it. Authorities had looked under the hood and found nothing wrong with it. It still had a third of a tank of gas. She could not believe that Dan would just abandon his car and take off. She says that the area where it was found was not an area where you would expect a person would stop and take a walk. Okay, let's scroll up. There we go. Now, I'm going to give you my theories when I'm done reading all of this. So if you're expecting me to give you like my theories right away, no, I'm going to do that once, this part is done. Dan's friend Don Wadsworth, I think it's Wadsworth, visited him several days before he vanished. Don noticed that Dan seemed unusually tired and depressed. He believed that Dan was mentally unstable from stress and working overtime. Dan told him that he was worn out from working 10-hour days and taking care of his children on the weekends. Don says that Dan was in a very drained state of mind. He couldn't think clearly and he was lackadaisical. He says Dan normally quiet and non-aggressive. He says Dan was normally quiet and non-aggressive. Sorry. Dan's cousin Glenda Horseman says that she feared for his safety from the beginning because of the state of his mind was in. She said, she had visited him 2 days before he disappeared. She was surprised by the disarray of his home. She could tell that the children had been there that weekend. Things had been left quite messy, which was very uncharacteristic of him. She says that he seemed agitated and tired. She asked him if everything was okay, and he said he was just having some issues with his work and his work hours. Okay. Before she left, Glenda suggested that Dan take time off to visit his family in Longmont, Colorado. That sounds like a cool place. I should go there one of these days. 48 hours later, he had his outburst at work and vanished. His family believed he had taken Glenda's advice and started for Colorado to visit them. He had made the trip from Spokane to Longmont many times before. Using the route he normally traveled, Interstate 90, he would have headed south at Billings, Montana instead. South at Billings, Montana. Instead, he turned onto a different highway, Interstate 94, heading due east. He continued over 150 miles into the sparsely populated area of Montana where his car was found. How had he strayed so far off course on such a familiar route? Darlene suspected foul play. She says that Dan was known to pick up hitchhikers. If he felt he could give somebody a ride, he would. She fears that he might not have been the person. Wait. She fears that he might not have been the person that parked the car in Montana, and that somebody else had left it there. Determined to unravel the mystery, Darlene and Dan's cousins went back to Spokane. Dan's home was in even worse disarray than when Glenda had visited 10 days earlier. Food was left on the table, and lights were still on. Surprisingly, his luggage, clothes, checkbook, and an uncashed paycheck were all still in the home. Darlene did not find evidence that he had taken anything with him. Not even a toothbrush, razor, or money. It looked like he had just left and intended to come back. Okay, the next day, Dan's family left Spokane more puzzled than ever. Darlene and Glenda drove his car drove his car on the return trip. En route, they both had sore throats and felt an odd burning sensation in their eyes. As soon as they returned home, they had the car inspected. The mechanic found that the car had a faulty muffler and that may have been allowing exhaust gases to enter the car's interior. He said that the car was unsafe to drive. It appeared that the carbon monoxide leak in the muffler might have caused Darlene and Glenda's physical symptoms. Dan had been driving the same car every day for over a year. It is possible that carbon monoxide poisoning could have caused him severe physical and emotional damage, according to Dr. Tim Chestnut, a critical care specialist. Chronic exposure to carbon monoxide can cause several issues, including fatigue, definite changes in personality, confusion, permanent loss of function of the brain, including intellectual ability and memory, as well as severe personality changes resembling psychosis. Darlene believes that Dan is suffering from amnesia. She believes that he may know his name but nothing else. He may not realize where his family is or how to get in touch with them. Darlene flooded the state of Montana with missing person flyers in late November of 1988. The Billings Rescue Mission, a homeless shelter in Billings, Montana, sent her a copy of its desk register. It showed that a Daniel Wilson had signed in to spend the night on November the 12th, nearly 3 months after Dan disappeared. She compared the signature with the one of her sons. The similarity was striking, so she and her nephew decided to go to Billings and talk to the man who ran the shelter. Still clinging to the fragile hope that Dan might be wandering aimlessly, knowing his name but nothing else, Darlene brought several photographs of him, hoping for a positive identification and some new clues. When shown a photo of Dan, the shelter manager and another employee said that they recognized him. They believed that he had spent the night there. The identification was a sense of relief for Darlene. She thought that if he had been there recently, then he most likely would still be around somewhere where she could find him. She and her nephew distributed more flyers in Billings and along the route from Billings to Spokane. Oops. There has been no trace of Dan for years. Authorities found no sign of violence and no evidence of a second person in or around his car. So they have tended to discount the foul play theory. They have, however, suggested the possibility that he made a conscious choice to disappear. Based on reported sightings of him, they speculate that he is alive and trying to hide from his family for some reason. Glenda feels that it is not impossible that he decided to disappear and start a new life since he was under a great deal of pressure. She says he had not had a happy life since he came to Spokane. She feels that this theory is unlikely because wait, hold on. She says that he did not have a happy life since he came to Spokane, but she feels that this theory is unlikely because he was devoted to his children and felt that they needed him. Darlene feels that whatever happened to Dan is something beyond his control. She believes that he could be almost anywhere and that he may be unable to find his way back to his family. Could Dan have been the victim of foul play? Could he have engineered his own disappearance? Or has he somehow slipped through the cracks of American society, joining the ranks of the homeless, his mind hopelessly muddled by the chronic carbon monoxide poisoning? Sadly, his whereabouts remain cloaked in mystery. Scroll up. One intriguing postscript to Dan's strange disappearance. Workers at the Billings Rescue Mission said the man they believed to be Dan was traveling with a woman and two young children, one of them just a baby. Oddly, the woman and children remained outside in their dilapidated car throughout the cold November night. Suspects. Authorities do not suspect foul play in Dan's disappearance. Darlene at first believed that he was attacked by a hitchhiker. However, she now believes that carbon monoxide was responsible for his bizarre behavior and disappearance. Extra notes. This case first aired on the October 3rd, 1990 episode. It was filmed at the same time as the Morris Davis case. Most of the scenes that took place in Montana were filmed in and around Great Falls. Some sources say Dan's car was found on August 26th or 27th. Sheriff Harbaugh was a pilot and a pilot were nearly killed in a small plane crash while searching for Dan. The plane was flying low to the ground when it struck a power line. The plane was able to make an emergency landing on Interstate 94. Wow, how low were you if you were if you hit a power line? Jeez, even though you're trying to find something, that seems to be kind of dangerous. You're so low that you could hit a power line, but if you're so low, isn't there a chance that you're gonna miss what you're looking for if you're that low? Isn't there like a a preferred height that you want to be at when you're looking? Anyway, results solved. On September 29th, 1997, a ranch worker found a human skull next to a creek approximately 6 miles south of where Dan's car was found. No other remains were found. 2 days later, Sheriff Harbaugh believed the skull to belong to Dan. Request his dental records in November. The skull was positively identified as Dan's through the comparison of the dental records. Authorities believe that Dan became disorientated, wandered off, and died of exposure. The Custer County Sheriff's Office considers this case closed. On March 1st, 2011, Darlene passed away at the age of 87. That sucks. Okay, and then we have Dan Wilson and Find a Grave. Daniel Robert Dan Wilson. Age of our date of birth was November 6, 1952. In Denver County, Colorado, USA. Date of death was August 24th, 1988. He was 35. Location was Mills City, which is in Custer County, Montana, USA. He was buried at the Foothills Gardens of Memory in Longmont, Boulder, Colorado, USA. Okay. And here, he doesn't really have that much in the way of, items. So let's take a look at photos. Okay, so here's his missing persons flyer photo. Here's a picture of, I'm guessing that was his son, but it looks like that they could have been going fishing or camping or something, because on the right side of Dan, it looks like there's a tackle box, but it looks like he has a son with him. Here's another picture of Dan, and then here is his final resting place. The marker reads, it looks like it shares with his mom, because we have Dan, Dan Wilson, and then his mom on the left side. The mother, apparently this was taken before she passed away, because it just has her date of birth. And that, is the case of Dan Wilson. It's pretty sad if you think about it, I remember a person once saying, it's sad to, die, but it's almost worse to be dead and forgotten, I think honestly that's what kind of happened with poor Dan here. I think not only was he forgotten, but he was dead. But there's not much we can really say about it, though. We don't have a choice when people die, and that's ultimately kind of what it boils down to. What do I? But you're probably wondering, what do I think? Do I think he was murdered? Do I think it was carbon monoxide? Honestly, I don't think he was murdered. I do think the carbon monoxide was one of the major factors. I'd say it was 90% carbon monoxide. I think the carbon monoxide poisoning and basically kind of enhanced his aggression. Like they said, it is carbon monoxide is known for changing people's personalities. Well, the fact is that Dan also, I think, not only was he dealing with the whatchamacallit, the carbon monoxide poison, But I think the carbon monoxide poison, was bringing up issues, with him regarding the divorce. I think it all kind of merged into a giant nasty monster, and I think that monster consumed Dan. He was driving. I think the carbon monoxide poison buildup got to the point that after he hit, I think I think we hit a precipice, or Dan hit a precipice when he was driving. And he was supposed to go south to Colorado, and he kept going east. I think that minute where instead of going south and he went east, I think that's when everything just kind of blew up, and I don't think he realized what he was doing anymore. He got so far into Montana, and I think he may have just had like a momentary like. He's like, where am I? So he probably got out of the vehicle because I think he may have started to realize that maybe something was wrong with the car, but he was still disorientated by the poison, and I think that he was walking around to try to clear his head, but his head would not clear. And the longer he was walking around and he's probably getting more and more upset, which I would be also like, where am I? Where am I? What am I doing out here? Like trying to figure out where you are, because apparently reports are that he did not take anything with him. So even by the time that he got home that day, he may have, or the day that he left, he may have already been on that downward slope, like something was wrong, and he just didn't realize that he left, I think honestly that's what happened, but like I said, I think that when it came to that point where, he was supposed to go south to Colorado, but he kept going east, I think that's when we had the major problem, But it's sad. It's weird how items that we use every day, like our cars, how it can literally be something that can just royally screw us over, if we're not careful. Carbon monoxide isn't something that you should really fool around with. Like if you think you're suffering from carbon monoxide poison, get help before it's too late. But yeah, that's my theories. I don't think it was murder. It was not murder. I think it was a combination of stress from the divorce, which was already kind of alluded to, mixed with the carbon monoxide poisoning. Now I want to look at one of the things that kind of made me kind of scratch my head. I'm like, wait, what? The homeless shelter. They were adamant that it was Dan that was there. They even apparently had his signature. The mother came and she said that there was striking similarities between the signatures. My question is like, was it really Dan that was there at the homeless shelter? I don't think it was. I don't think it was Dan. I think Dan died shortly after he left his car. He ended up at that. I think they say that his skull was found near a creek. Now the thing is like there's all types of predators, so I don't even think that he died. Well, did I say that he died? I don't think he died at the creek. I think he died somewhere near the car, and a predator could have come and moved his body, because they said that there was nothing left besides the skull. I think honestly, I'm not trying. I know it's going to come across to me sound like an asshole saying this, but I think even though that there was the signature and there were similarities there, I think honestly that the people who ran that homeless shelter, I think possibly that they were kind of fibbing. If anything, they were fibbing to try to get the light shined on their homeless shelter to help people, to get more people to come in, get airtime on TV, because any kind of news will attract people and stuff. So does that mean that they're bad guys? No. That does not mean they're bad guys. I think that they took advantage of the situation because of the fact that it was even mentioned that this guy who they thought was Dan was there with a lady who had 2 kids. Like, nah, I don't see Dan being the type that would cheat on, that would have had a different family because he was a religious person. His he was tied up in taking care of, making sure his kids were taken care of. But yeah, that's basically what I think. I think that it was carbon monoxide poisoning. Like, and which is sad. This kind of brings me back to a case that I recently covered on Black Site, which was the Devin Williams case. I think that's the right last name. It was Devin Williams. Basically, Devin was a truck driver. His truck ended up getting stuck in a national forest, a Tonto National Forest in Arizona. Uh, I think that he was also a victim of carbon monoxide poisoning. I can't recall if they actually mentioned it, but that's how I kind of link these 2 cases like that. You have a guy who died, of unknown causes. Both of them died of unknown causes, and I think it was just carbon monoxide poisoning, which is sad. Like, the one thing that we can't really smell, I think carbon monoxide is the one that's supposed to be odorless, isn't it? But anyway, the thing we cannot kill is smell is what kills us. It's like you're always we're always used to threats that we can see or smell, but there is always that one carbon monoxide, serious shit. Like you cannot take it for granted. It will kill you. But I guess that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for another episode of Black Site Files from Unsolved Mysteries. I'm going to back on out. If you're watching this, either on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, I hope that, this gives you a chance to at least talk about it. I'm going to, in the description of this video on YouTube and Facebook, I am going to put the link to the Dan Wilson case for you all to watch. It's on Unsolved Mysteries official Facebook YouTube page, so it'll take you right there. But go ahead, watch the case, and let me know what you think. Do you think that Dan was murdered by a hitchhiker, or do you also think that it could be carbon monoxide, or that it could have possibly been some sort of combination of carbon monoxide poisoning along with the like his breakdown and resurfacing from the divorce? I'm going to try to do another Black Site Files from Unsolved Mysteries this coming Monday. I try to space them one day apart from each other. I'm going to try this at least, until I return back to work. And then once I return to work, I'll figure out a new schedule, But until then, my name is Jeff, aka G-Curse. Wishing you all a great day. And stay safe, everybody. Peace out.